You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Waters Lane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are people talking about? Wow, you got a natural glow about you today. That looks good.
Because I've been running around the garden center.
My hottie gal, you've been married for a lot of years, and you still are the apple of my eye. You still catch my attention in a crowded room. You're still purty, honey. Anyway,
Thank you, dear.
We do radio together as well. We run a company together. So business partners. So anyway, Lisa comes and helps me just field the questions. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good to be here.
It is.
Good to be here in spring, enjoying. It's a beautiful day today.
Finally feels like it, yeah.
Yes, I know we got a little bout of cold, and then it looks like it's up into the 70s.
I mean, it could be July, and there's a little bout of cold in the mountain. It could be a hailstorm with 3 inches of hail out there. So you just never know. That's the mountains. That's part of the beauty.
Right. And, people are always concerned, well, can I still plant? Well, yeah, we know it's going to get cold. Yeah, don't throw your tomatoes outside. But, yes, of course you can still plant. It's a wonderful time to plant. I mean,
the plants we have in the garden, all the fruit trees and the shade trees and the evergreens and the lilacs and the forsythia and the rhododendrons and the azaleas we don't bring those things in at night. They stay out there exposed to the cold. We're trying to acclimate them, that's what we call it.
Toughen them up.
Get them used to our climate. So even the greenhouses, we don't heat. We let them go down to ambient temperature. We just try to keep the frost off of them so they look fantastic all the time. But we're trying to acclimate them too. So we're not bringing them in. I mean, a summer plant, if you're like tomatoes, if you're planting zinnias right now, first of all, we don't have zinnias because it's too cold for them.
Right.
But we do have pansies and all the other spring things. Now is the time to plant those. So you plant them seasonally correct.
Right. Definitely.
It does feel like spring though. Finally, it's
nice.
It's during the day. I finally had just a t-shirt on. And I lost my winter weight, which is kind of good. So I look good in an apron. So we wear aprons at the garden center. For those who've never been, we all have aprons. That's how you ID us. It's anyway. And
I don't know.
My apron's thinning. It's that people are going, hey, you look pretty good. Spring's looking good on you. I'm going, well, thank you very much. I feel better about myself and my customers.
That's good. I wish I'd lose my winter weight. I'll have to work on that.
What garden questions do we want? Because I'm not touching the weight thing with you. Moving on.
You have learned something in 36 years.
Right.
I'm impressed. All right. So Cindy's out in Chino. So last year, her apple trees had a lot of codling moth worms in them. Just doesn't want to repeat that. Wants a good crop. She wants to make her applesauce and her apple pie. Without worms. She knows, how do you prevent that?
Yeah, easy. This is easy. Well, it's not easy. It's going to take some work. But if you know what to do, it's not that hard of work. So apples and pears, those two fruits get in them called what we call codling moth. It's a little tiny worm that's actually a moth larva. She comes and lays her eggs on your fruit. The larva stage comes in and burrows its way and lives inside the fruit until it matures, comes back out, burrows its way back out, and then flies around and lays more eggs. So we call them codling moths. We can have up to 2 to 3 waves of codling moths per season because we've got such a long season. And so she loves to lay her eggs into that pollinating fruit. So as the apples or pears bloom, they're pollinating. There you see bees floating around, moths are floating around, and they're pollinating all the flowers. Well, just as the petals start to drop, she goes, hey, if I were to lay my egg right inside that flower, the fruit will actually form over my egg, and then it's protected from all the ladybugs and all the other things that eat my children, and they'll be good to go. And so the best time to spray, the absolute best, is just as it looks like it's snowing, only with flower petals from your fruit trees. Spray it right then with horticultural oil. it will obliterate them. So it coats that egg. They're always active about right then. There's a repelling action to it, kind of coats the flower to it. So hit them with hort oil. It's organic. It's as safe as you can get, just as the petals drop. Now you've got you said 2 to 3 waves. So now you've got smaller fruits and they come back at you again. Oh my gosh, these things are irritating. She'll lay her egg on the outside of the fruit. The larva will hatch, burrow in. Once it's inside the fruit, there's no getting it out. Then burrow back out when it's mature. The only way to know when the next waves of codling moths hit you is by putting up what's called a codling moth trap. You hang a little tiny, it's got a pheromone in there and a kind of a love attractant for codling moths. And nothing's in there for weeks. All of a sudden you go check that trap and there's like 3 moths in there. No, where'd they come from? The next night you come in, there's like 10 moths. Like at the end of the week, there's like, the thing is filled with moths. Codling moths are busy. They're making whoopee on my fruits. And they're going to be filled with worms if I don't do something. So that's your cue. Now, the Google machine says, codling moths, just hang one, solves all your problems. That is a total lie. All a trap does is a monitoring system to know when do I spray next. Mm-hmm. So when the trap has a lot of moths in it, that's when that's a cue. Spray it right then. And so just about anything will take out a codling moth. So your oils are kind of organic and natural and safe. We've got an inside-outside spray that's good for fruit trees. Come see us if you see that. Get a codling moth trap mainly. So, and if it's early enough, you could probably spray with hort oil again. I think you can spray horticultural oil up until 85, close to 90 degrees. And then it gets too hot for it. So there's a temperature cutoff that does that. But come see us. We can help you grow worm-free or relatively. You only have a few worms. Something gross. I did bite into an apple once. Only the wiggling body. Half the body was in my mouth. Gross. Half was wiggling the apple and going, okay, that's kind of gross. Moving on. Use a knife.
All right. Our next question is from Lauren. She says, I love the idea of using natural predators to get rid of aphids and other bad insects.
Sure.
But do ladybugs and praying mantis, do they really work well enough out in your yard?
Well, sure they do. Yeah, Lauren, first of all, it's fun. If you got kids, you need those because it's just fun. If you release ladybugs into the yard, you're going to have ladybugs for the rest of the season in your yard. You might, release 500 ladybugs, but every ladybug your kids spot in the yard from that point for the rest of the year, you get credit for. Whether they flew in naturally from 100 miles away or right next door, or you released them, you get credit. I mean, that's just a win. That's like, if you got grandchildren coming to visit, get ladybugs. It's awesome. It's fun to let them crawl around and just release them. But they are winged. They do fly away. So that's a negative. So generally what we say is we have ladybugs, we have praying mantis now, we have the red wigglers, we've got all the beneficial insects you'd want to release into your yard. We have them here at Waters Garden Center now. You can put them out now. If you see aphids, let's say on your yuccas or your rose bush or your fruit trees or your wherever you see a problem, take the ladybugs, wet down that area where the aphids are. Don't hose them off, just moisten it. And then release the ladybugs at the base of the plant. They're not going to fly away from the mulch or the rocks underneath. They're going to crawl up. And as they crawl up, they're going to find stuff to eat because they're ferocious. And they're going to eat them. And as long as there's food there, they're going to keep eating. As soon as they're done, as soon as that food source is gone or your problem's gone, they're going to take flight and fly to the next available food source. Might be the rose bush next over, or it might be down the street. We don't know, but they're going to be flying around looking for food. Moisture, because they're thirsty. So the moisture keeps them around. So they're going to have a drink and then they're going to have an eat. So those two things, and then release them at night. So they're doing this. If it's just light, they're going to go, oh, the sparkly's over there. Look, I'm going to fly away. But at night, they don't fly at night. So if we release them at the base of the plant, moisten that area first and then let them go. Praying mantis are different. That's an egg casing. So you put this praying mantis egg case out there, then they release later when it's temperature related. Well, I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be later
It's
than
temperature
now.
related.
It's temperature related. Well, we are out of time like that. Lisa, Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Garden.
Water's Garden companion plants of the month are lilac, poppy, columbine, and our purple twist plum.
This Arizona plum is the ideal purple tree between evergreens.
Blooms in a profusion of pink flowers that precede the deep purple foliage.
Large enough to use as a front yard tree and behaved enough to use as a street tree.
Plant pears flanking gateways, driveways, or an orchard like rows to screen neighbors.
Purple twist plum can only be found at Waters Garden Center in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.